Thank you guys for having me. Following up Jason is never an easy task, especially when he says everything you were going to say. So I'm going to stare at you guys for 20 minutes. Sound good? No? That didn't land. So I'm a stand-up comedian, and every once in a while my jokes don't land. And that's okay, because I'm a creative professional, and sometimes you just got to work through it. And that's kind of what today is about. It's not just being a professional, it's about being a creative professional. Real quick poll of the audience. Do you need creativity to come up with an idea? Yes. Good. I'm glad you all said that, because your brain coming up with an idea is mostly just at one point you posed a question to your brain, and then your brain spent, I don't know, the last week, couple months, putting together all of the sensations and memories and experiences you had over your lifetime to try to come up with a creative solution. Does that sound like creativity or biology? Biology. It's mostly random. Most of the ideas that we have you guys ever been in the shower, just kind of idea just pops in your head? That's what it is. Your brain is subconsciously coming up with these ideas. That's not creativity, in my opinion. In my opinion, creativity is every single step that you take after that moment. It's all the problems and all the questions that you come up with after that moment. Okay? So, today, I want to kind of follow up. I'm kind of segueing from where Jason left off with these artist principles, right? And some of you are probably saying, okay, cool, that's great. You're an artist, you're a writer, you're a painter, you're an actor. How does that apply to me? I'm a business person. I care about the bottom line, right? Yes, we do care about the bottom line. That's kind of, if we didn't, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be making any money. We wouldn't be able to keep the doors open. We wouldn't be able to feed our family. Well, let me tell you about some of the best startup entrepreneurs that I know. What they do is they come up with an idea. They come up with an idea, whether it's a spark of influence or a spark of inspiration, and then they bring people together. And they're like, okay, I need you, I need you, I need you. Sound familiar, startups? Then they go beg for money. And then when they don't get enough money, because they never do, they're like, we're gonna make it happen anyways. Then they spend 6 to 18 months putting together this fantastic product, and then they put it out to their audience, and they put it out to their customers, and they're like, please pay for my stuff. And then their product has a shelf life of probably no more than 12 months, which means all of their initial investment money has to be made back in those 12 months, and that is the only time that they really have a profit. And that's it. They know that their lifespan of their company will last probably no longer than 2.5 to 3 years before they have to do it again. These entrepreneurs, ladies and gentlemen, are called filmmakers. If you think I'm kidding, filmmaking, whether it is a small independent film or a studio film, goes through the exact same processes that you entrepreneurs go through to start your companies. Just for a quick, for those of you who are number people, a studio film, a big budget studio Hollywood film, has an average budget of $70 to $90 million. In 2018, the average total of sum of investors across seed rounds, Series A rounds, and Series B rounds for tech companies was right around 52 million. Comparable numbers, I know, what's 20 million among friends, right? Who cares? Comparable numbers, but we are talking about tens of millions of dollars. How many people in here got $52 million to start their company? No? Okay, yeah, me neither. I never, WB, the Warner Brothers hasn't come down and been like, here, Brian, here's 70 million, go make yourself a movie. Most of us are in the independent filmmaking world. We have to borrow from grandma. We have a lot of credit cards, and I may or may not have stolen that car that I drive around in. I don't know. That's what we are, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is where creativity exists. That's the world of creativity. Why? Because major giant conglomerates, major film studios like to keep a tight rein on creativity. They don't want you to go too far to the left. They don't want you to go too far to the right, right? Stay right between the lanes, because that's where the profit is. We don't want to ruffle any feathers. Where's the bottom line? But in the independent filmmaking world, in the small business world, we can plant our foot and just do a quick 90 degrees. Because nobody's stopping us, right? That's us, right? Can I get a head nod from somebody? Okay, cool, yeah. Woo, I know, we're all tired from the food. But that is the freedom that we have being in small companies. That is the freedom that we have to be creative. But the only way we can pivot, and this is where Mr. Acronyms, C.A.V.E.S really comes into play, is if we apply these artistic principles. And I'm going to use Filmmakers as an example. So when you first have your idea, the first thing you need to do is get people on board, the right people for the right job. Raise your hand if you have ever worked in a place where they hired the first person who came in who was qualified. For those who didn't raise your hand, you're liars. If you were ever in the military, you're a liar because you definitely experienced it. Too often in this day and age, entrepreneurs, CEOs, business owners are hiring the first person who walks through the door who is just qualified for the job. That is not good enough, especially not in this day and age. They need to be the right people for the right job who know more than you do. Remember we talked about this whole vulnerability aspect of you have to be vulnerable, you have to trust the people that you work for and work with or work under you. The only way you're going to trust them is if they are experts at their jobs. Directors of films, which is what I do. I don't know how to light everything. I'm not a light expert. I don't know color that well. I'm wearing all black, people. Like, color's not my thing. I need to hire somebody for my film who is a color guru, who can just create these palettes across the screen that will make you feel something, that will make you care about my characters and about what's happening. Okay? So you need to make sure you hire that salesperson who believes in your product and is better than you at selling things. Because if you're not, you are putting yourself at a disadvantage. Because guess what? We're talking bottom line here, right? So say I get onto my film set and my cinematographer, who's the guy who's worried about colors and lighting, isn't better than me at my job. I need to worry about 600 other things. I got to worry about my actor. My actor is having a hard time with this line. He's like, Brian, I'm not going to say that on camera. You will not make me say it. I'm like, all right, Cindy, please just say it. Just say it. Just say it. And I have told my cinematographer to set up the lights. Just set up the lights. And my cinematographer's just sitting there and be like, I don't know how to get rid of that shadow. I don't know how to get rid of the shadow. 2 hours later, I'm done with my actor, Cindy's going to say the line, and I come back and I'm like, what the hell is this? Guess what? In film, time is money. Very literally. Very, very literally. Because that 2 hours just killed my entire shoot. I'm behind. That is the only day I've scheduled for that location. I'm at this restaurant. That's the only day I'm there. I have to call up my investors or I have to reach into grandma's pockets again. And I have just cost myself somewhere between $3,000, $6,000, $10,000 because of a 2-hour mess up. How much is it worth it to you to not hire the right person? Just to give you an example, average ticket sales in 2019 is $9 per ticket for movie theaters. So you do the math. What's $6,000? How many more butts do I have to get in seats just to make up for a 2-hour mess up? Can we learn something from filmmakers and how they hire people and how you should be hiring people? Yes, I think so. Could be wrong, but I'm up here talking. No. So something else that I mentioned very, very briefly is they need to care. They need to care about your vision. You need to care about your vision. You need to be authentic. You need to be specific. You need to have empathy. Because if you don't care about your sales guy or saleswoman who is better than you at sales, they won't care. If you don't care about the product you're selling, they won't care. And if they don't care, guess who else doesn't care? Just say it out loud. Who else doesn't care? The consumers, the customers, they will not care. Filmmakers live and die by people who care or don't care. because we get one shot. We have one release date. It is September 6th. My movie is coming out in theaters. That's it. That is the only singular day that I have for my film to be ready to be released. Do you think after September 6th it matters what kind of marketing I do? No. Whose hand is it in after September 6th? The audience. The audience. And nowadays, even more so, critics who watch the film before it's even finished have a huge control over whether we make a profit or not. Bless you. So you have to put that much attention and care into your product so you can make your customers care, so they can sit in your proverbial seats and eat their popcorn and buy your products. Okay? You have to care. If you don't care, you're in the wrong industry. Change. Maybe you don't like what you're doing. Maybe you should go somewhere else. That's okay. Guess what? I was in the military. I was a fitness facility. I've done a lot of different jobs. Now I'm a filmmaker. Whew, we're just all over the place. But I love it. I love it. I love it, and I care about every single project that I do. And I can tell when I don't care, it gets way worse. I have made some bad, ma'am, I have done some really awful things. It has been awful, awful. Specificity. Somebody turn that camera off. Specificity. Know what you're saying before the camera rolls. No. Specificity. I want to hammer home specificity because we all think we know what specificity means. We all think we know what it means to get your point across. Can we all just sit for a second and be like, maybe not. Maybe not. How many people can come up here in 30 seconds and tell somebody exactly what they need to do to help you and your company, regardless of where they are in the industrial chain? When I say specificity, you need to know how to speak the language of everybody in your product chain. As a director, if I don't know how to talk to my actors, do you think I'm going to get the most out of my actors? Do you think I'm going to get the most out of my cinematographer if I can't tell him that I want a warmer image versus a colder image? That means more oranges and reds versus more blues. If I didn't know how to say that, if I was just like, it's not happy. I need happy. My cinematographer is going to walk out. He's going to be, you know what, Brian? I don't think so. If I tell my actor, I need more, they're going to go Christian Bale on me. It's not going to be fun for anyone. Only 3 people got that, but it was worth it. My point is, if you can't speak to everyone inside of your company or outside of your company and be able to really specifically, visually, emotionally, verbally explain your vision, what you want your company to be. Because yes, it's all about the bottom line, right? But nobody else cares about your bottom line. Only you do. So give them something else to care about and be able to talk and speak their language. Okay? Cool. I was going somewhere else with that. Just went away. Just disappeared. I want to give you an example about a company that didn't care but has a fantastic, fantastic profit line. It's called Walmart. Okay? Walmart makes hundreds of billions of dollars a year. Yeah? 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 In the late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere around there, the CEO of Walmart said, we didn't care about the good press at the beginning, and we didn't care about the bad press later. Every single year, up until about 2009, between 2000 and 2009, they were paying out hundreds of millions to over $1 billion in settlements. I don't know about you, but I'd rather that $1 billion be right here. They didn't care. They didn't care about their image. They didn't care about treating their employees with respect. Now, in 2018, they have spent the last 10 years trying to repair their image. They changed their slogan from always low prices to save money, live better, which is a more human-based slogan. They're also one of the top 10 companies in humanitarian work and philanthropic work in the United States. Did you guys know that? You didn't? They have spent so much money. They are spoken in the same sentences as Microsoft, and we all know about how generous Bill Gates is with his money. They're in the same ballpark, but nobody cares, right? No, half of you didn't even know it. So it will eventually be too late to care. Let Walmart be an example. Yes, they're making hundreds of millions of dollars, but we still don't like them. We would still want them to make changes. We still give them a hard time about the stuff that they do. I don't care what your bottom line is. You're going to still make more money if you care. Okay? Talking about another company, Apple, iPhone, right? iPhone controls 41% of the US smartphone market. 41%. Second place goes to Samsung. It's like 23%. Let me tell you about iPhone. iPhone is not number one in any of the measurable categories for smartphones. It doesn't have the fastest processing power. It doesn't have the biggest or best screen. It doesn't have the best camera. It doesn't have the largest storage space. Literally no measurable of an iPhone is actually better than another phone. But yet, we love it. It feels good. She doesn't. 41% of America loves it. Okay. None of them are in this room. But the point, people love the feel of it. They love the way it looks. They love the story behind it. They love the beauty and the attitude. And it makes them feel good. That's what Apple has been doing for decades now. They have been making things that make people feel good, make people feel something. And that's why people continue to buy their product. But how many iPhones in a row do we get of the exact same thing? They're not advancing their phones. That goes back to independent film versus studio film. Apple's just getting way too big to pivot. They can't pivot as well as the little companies. And that's where we come in. We can make some great changes at this lower level. Independent filmmakers are some of the most innovative directors and filmmakers out there who are telling the most amazing stories on the smallest budgets because they have the freedom to be creative. They are able to hire just the right people. They don't have a studio breathing down their neck saying, you need this producer, you need to hire this actor, you need this cinematographer, you need to hire this gaffer, because we get to choose specifically who we want. And then we get to make those people, that tight-knit group really care about the story, because we can talk to them in their language and really speak to them and make them see what we see. And then we can step out into our community. Each and every one of us can step out into our community and see our audience. Figure out what they want. What do they want to see? What gets them excited? What makes them feel something? The empathy. What is going to make them stand out? Break through the noise. And then, when September 6th rolls around and we have our big release, we're going to be able to make all of our money back and pay Grandma the money that we owe her. To reborrow it for the next film and the next film. I'm going to write that into my speech. I'm stealing that. It's mine now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.